God's Power to Protect Us by Charlaine Martin. And he said to them, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, "What sort of man is this, that even winds and sea obey him?" Matthew chapter 8, verses 26 to 27. We carefully maneuvered our van past downed 3 branches and dangling electric lines. Sirens blared as emergency lights flashed in the darkness. A policeman stopped us at the entrance to our neighborhood, motioning us to turn right. My husband rolled down the window. "Officer, we live on a cul-de-sac about halfway into this subdivision. We need to check on our friend's grandparents who are alone inside the duplex beside ours." "In that case, go ahead, but be very careful." He stepped aside, motioning us through. Wide-eyed, we surveyed the devastation in our neighborhood as we made our way through. Then we pulled up to our duplex to let our friend run into his grandparents' home. They were frightened but safe. Our little dog greeted us with tail wags and licks when we went inside our darkened home and found our flashlights to check everything. The next day, we learned that God's hand protected our home from damage. The roof of the house behind us was ripped apart, and their tree lost big branches. The tornado had bounced from that house and landed in the city a couple of miles away, leaving my workplace unscathed, but tearing off the roof of a grocery store just 2 blocks away. God had answered our Bible study group's prayers for safety and protection that night. In Matthew chapter 8, Jesus calmed a storm that threatened to harm his disciples on their boat. They had ministered all day in Capernaum, preaching the gospel and healing the sick. Afterward, Jesus and his disciples retreated to their boat for much-needed rest. A storm suddenly brewed, jolting them awake as Jesus slept. Treacherous waves violently tossed them around in their small vessel. They panicked and called on Jesus to save them from drowning, which he did with his words. The men marveled at how the winds and seas obeyed him. Sometimes, even those who minister for God's kingdom get overwhelmed by storms that threaten them. We all experience storms, whether literal or metaphorical, that threaten to undo us. However, because of how we witnessed God's power to redirect the tornado, protecting our neighbors, our home, and my workplace, I can share this testimony with you. The key to remember is that Jesus is with you in your life, caring for you through the storms. You only need to pray to our Savior, who has power over them. What storms are brewing or swirling around you, threatening to harm you? How do you see God at work, calming the storms and taking care of you? Who needs to hear how God protected you in those storms?